Ho 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 everybody! Christmas is fast approaching, as is another episode of Nitro Nights. This time airing the last time before the holidays, and as usual, we're giving it our all. So stay tuned, buckle up, and let's watch the episode. Get a Rudolph. Get a Rudolph. What's up, team? I know 2020 is hard, but I hope you can calm down just a bit these days. Now, caring for your mental health is important, and that's something which Jimmy Broadbent knows as well. So he held his second edition of Race for Mental Health just last week, which we'll introduce you to. Tonight's guest, Matt Galagher, was also a part of it, and he'll talk us through it. Of course, he'll also do the Hotlap, as well as we have our social showroom, Newsflash, and everything in between. Last but not least, we can make further announcements about Clash of Racers 2 coming at you on December 13th. But as always, we need to introduce our guests, so let's go ahead and take a look.
Being the presenter for one of the biggest F1 channels on YouTube is not the easiest job, but Matt Gallagher doesn't only do it with charm, but also with a lot of grace. With more than 600,000 subscribers on WTF1, Matt made a huge leap from self-proclaimed shouting in his kitchen to making it onto Sky News. And he sometimes even participates in races himself, like the one he did for mental health, which was held at the end of November. You may also have seen or heard him as one of the commentators for the F1 Esports Pro Series, the place he also became buddies with the one and only Tom Deacon. And he even had the chance to commentate on a few Formula 1 and Formula 2 races. And as if all this wasn't enough, he also shows his skills with a golf club or his remarkable singing voice.
I can be your driver, baby.
As you can see, Matt is a man of many talents, not all of them including talking, even if the rest of them sometimes take the back seat.
And I am super stoked to introduce Matt Galagher. Now, that was a very intense resume. It just kept stacking on itself. It was like, okay, started out in the kitchen, now a professional commentator, also drives sometimes. He's good at golf, he can sing, he has a Hollywood smile. It was like everything rolled into one.
It was ridiculous. I didn't really like watching it. I don't like watching myself back. But thank you for having me on the show. It's awesome to be a part of it. And I've never seen something like that before, so it's weird to watch myself on it.
It's like the worst thing. People assume that commentators, that we get used to looking at ourselves and listening to ourselves, but it's always a weird shock to see that. But kind of going directly into it, it mentioned, obviously, the WTF channel. I love saying that, the WTF1 channel. But you had a racing channel before then. Can you kind of walk me through how you got into racing, why you changed channels, and just the overall elevator speech of how you got here?
Yeah, it's a bit of a whirlwind, really. I can't really believe that it's happened, to be honest, because I started with my own YouTube channel, which was called XMattyG1, where genuinely I just wanted to create a YouTube channel to show off that I was kind of good at an F1 game. It was never anything more than that. I remember absolutely grinding for the first 100 subscribers on forums, going, check out my Hotlap this, check out my circuit guide that. I never ever thought it was going to be anything other than just a little hobby, something on the side of doing a job with young people. I used to work with young people in schools, completely different to what I do now, and it's just been a crazy adventure.
I always love that. It always starts small and then it grows really large. Now you've done some commentating for F1 and F2 races. Do you have any, highlights of like, this is the best achievement of like the career, that rush when you think about it? Or is there something that you're still reaching for that you really want to do in your career?
I mean, I can't get complacent because I know in these kind of in this day and age and in this job role, you can become irrelevant very quickly. So I try and entertain people as much as I possibly can, and I keep trying to make sure that the content on WTF1 is the best it possibly can be. In terms of career highlights, I mean, it's amazing to just go back through the YouTube channel sometimes and go, oh yeah, I did that. That was quite cool. The Formula 1 drive has to be the thing that I'll always remember. I just will never, ever forget that day. I remember the temperature. I remember everything about it, being in the car. So that has to be the career highlight, but I hope I can make many more over the years to come.
And that kind of actually rolls into our next question. I was just going to ask you, you have the experience that you've commentated both the sim version as well as the real life version of Formula 1. And I kind of wanted to ask what the differences were. Do you think that there's a strength that's inherent to one or the other? Do you use the same commentating style for both of them? Or do you feel like you get to be a little bit looser when you're doing the esports or the sim side of things?
Well, I was thrown in the deep end pretty hardcore. With, the call up for Formula 2 and F1 TV was something I'd kind of dreamed of, but never ever thought it would be possible. I just thought, I haven't done the traditional way of going through the commentating ranks, and it all came through F1 Esports and doing my work with Alex Jakes. Alex Jakes then told me that Formula 1 management had said that they liked our duo, and I thought, oh, that's a nice compliment. And then it turned out that they gave me the opportunity. But in terms of the skills, it's so different. It's so different commentating motorsport in real life than it is in esports. Esports, that's my bread and butter. I know everything about it. I've never been a Formula 1 driver. I can't tell you exactly what it feels like in a race 30 laps in, but there's so many little things that you have to make sure that, for example, in esports, if someone has a massive crash, you're like, whoa, my God, they're mad. If you do it for real life motorsport, you have to have a completely different tone because these people can actually hurt themselves. So there's so many things to think on the fly that I was learning on the spot pretty much.
That's actually a great comparison. I didn't even think to equate it to even just the tone shift differences, but you're absolutely right. Now, kind of going to your own driving experience, driving in a sim or even on a real life track, is there an event that you really want to drive for as a driver yourself, like being behind the wheel?
God, I mean, I think a company or a team would have to have a lot of trust in me to allow me behind the wheel. But hey, I've proved that I don't crash a Formula 1 car, at least in a straight line. But I don't have a racing license. Maybe that's the next step for me. But I mean, I'd love to take part in some sort of event, but I don't know. I feel like I'm good, but not good enough to maybe go down that adventure. But then I know a lot of people would probably like to see me fail. So who knows? I like the fact that I can have these experiences sometimes. Like the Formula 1 drive came out of absolutely nowhere. Formula E car I've driven as well. That was the first gen. Again, it was just like, Matt, do you fancy driving this car? So yeah, don't mind if I do. So maybe the off occasion when there's no one else on track, I'm completely down for.
You're basically like, yeah, you can allow me to park your $1 million vehicle, but we'll see you on the other side. Now we do enter our quick fire round. So our producer kind of quickly went over this. It's very, very simple. I'm just going to ask you some questions and just like lightning fast, you just got to answer. It's supposed to be like gut instinct. Okay. Okay. Perfect. I promise. Really easy. Your favorite driver?
Charles Leclerc.
Okay. Your favorite racing game?
F1 2010.
Okay. Personal hero of esports racing?
Oh, goodness me. Brendan Lee.
And your favorite car?
Audi R8.
This one's hard. Your best co-commentator that you've ever worked with?
Alex Jakes, even though he's not a co-commentator, he leads. But
And finally, your favorite song to sing while driving?
Oh, goodness me. God. I literally, Justin Bieber Christmas album.
Okay. First, okay. Before we go into our deep dive segment, like time out here. Justin Bieber.
Yes.
Okay, I respect, that's fine. But the fact that you chose the Christmas album, the only correct answer there is Mariah Carey. Like, how could you pick Justin Bieber over Mariah? Okay.
Oh my God, Justin Bieber's my favorite Christmas album. It's just such a banger.
We're gonna have words, but while Matt and I debate this one, we're gonna go ahead and take a look at our deep dive segment, which is of course was that charity race that Jimmy Broadbent ran for mental health. So let's go ahead and take a look.
Even in a year like the one we've had, Christmas is all about spreading the love and giving to others. Charity events are a popular way of doing this. At the end of November, star streamer Jimmy Broadbent started his second edition of Race for Mental Health, which is a 24-hour iRacing competition on the Circuit Zolder. The event was open to anyone, with every team making a £15 donation to enter. All revenue and donations go to Mind, a mental health charity operating across England and Wales that supports people suffering from all kinds of mental illness. Broadbent started the Race for Mental Health in dedication to his father, who committed suicide after a long phase of depression and alcoholism. This year's race lasted only 23 hours, but more than doubled the amount of money raised compared to last year, a total of £71,600. The £10,000 goal was reached before the lights even turned green, just as the £1,000 goal did last year. The event was streamed and joined by many renowned names on the sim racing circuits, such as Jardier of Team Food Critics or the WTF1 crew, including our guest Matt Galagher. Team BS Competition won the race in the GT4 class, while Alpine Stars Geodesic Racing Black dominated the TCR class, and Team Roncar drove the fastest Volkswagen Jetta. Gallagher finished third in GT4 with his WTF1 team, while Jardier and the Food Critics reached P6. Patron Jimmy Broadbent didn't manage to finish, knocked out in a huge crash 4 minutes before the end of the race.
A Merry Christmas, everyone.
I mean, look, TK put him there. I just had to finish him off.
I didn't realize it was TK.
Oh, and for Keith, I did it my way.
Nevertheless, Jimmy's race for mental health was once again a massive success and showed how even in dark times like these, communities can still manage to shine.
What I think is so amazing about this, especially coming from more of my esports and gaming background, is the intersection that esports and gaming and mental health have, just because suicide disproportionately affects men, especially young men that are usually sitting right in our demographic, you know, that 18 to 25-year-old range. So first and foremost, huge props to taking part in a charity event like this. Also, huge shout out to Jimmy Broadbent, you and all the other racers for raising £70,000. That is absolutely incredible. What was the event like for you as a racer or a competitor?
It was good fun. You know, it's always great to be part of such an awesome cause. You know, I'm quite close with Jimmy Broadbent. We've done a few events together, and he's a really nice guy. And you know, it's the least that we could do is take part as a team and give it even more exposure than it already had. It was really fun to be a part of. Of course, you know, you want to do really well. And to be fair, third position, considering the team that I got together was quite last minute. Was my best result ever in any endurance. It's always been over a fence, usually after the first 10 laps. So quite happy to finish 7 laps down on a really competitive winner in that class. And
that's the thing. It was an endurance race as well. And I was told that there was a Team Lonely, that had a single driver for 23 hours. I don't even know the logistics of that. Did they eat? Did they go to the bathroom? Did he pull over and have to go take a call at any point? Or was he just locked into the car for 23 hours straight?
I have absolutely no idea. I didn't even know that team existed until I found out about it. So whoever it was, they are an absolute hero. If they actually did 23 hours without going to the toilet and was fed during the race, I don't know how it works. If they live on their own, how are they going to do that? But
just
I've
bottles.
actually thought... Yeah, I've actually thought, could I do that kind of thing as a WTF1 video idea? And then I thought, actually, my health is probably at risk because the thing is, I wouldn't want to do it and then stop halfway through, have a little break. That's not solid racing. So I don't know how that person did it.
Just wild. So you kind of talked about the competition level and kind of being proud of yourself. Do you think that there were do the competitors take it really seriously? Obviously, everyone's doing this for a good cause. You saw Jimmy Broadbent there flipping through the air as he's singing to himself. But did you still feel that at certain points people were like, okay, it's on? You really got to kind of test yourself against some of the other drivers?
Oh, absolutely. You know, any race, you know, there's people there that want to win. And I think a lot of them did. It was quite funny that a part of that race was that you could actually pay to get rid of a penalty. So you could I think the first time you had an incident, the stewards would come over and say, because I think I joined and our previous driver had already messed up. So I had to then sing Barbie Girl down the microphone. So that one cleared that penalty. But after that, you either had to pay £10 or £5. It went up in increments as the race went on to clear the penalty, or you had to come in the pits and do a forfeit. So lots of pay to win went on, and it went to a great cause. So I'm not afraid to say that I paid a few penalties off myself.
Completely fair. Although after your Justin Bieber comment, I don't know if Barbie Girl is really a penalty for you. I think that would actually just be can I sing it again?
I enjoyed it.
No, so kind of last question before we move on to our social showroom. Is there any charity or cause that you yourself would really like to support if you wanted to do something like this in the future?
To be fair, Mind is one that I would love to do anyway, just purely because I believe in the mental health struggles that so many people are going through. And it's almost like a silent killer in a lot of ways, because people don't necessarily come forward because they're in such long waiting lists in order to be seen by a counsellor. As the fact that I used to work with young people as well with problems and that kind of mental health issues, it's a problem quite close to my heart as well. So I'd probably go down the same route as Jimmy, to be honest, because it's one of those things that has to be taken seriously, especially in this day and age, because the likes of social media, for example, that can bring a lot of young people's confidence and self-esteem down. I'm all for more research into it to help whoever's struggling.
I'm in complete alignment with you. Thank you so much, Matt, for being so eloquent. Now, we are going to move on to our social showroom, but just as a final reminder, it is completely fine and completely okay to not be okay. Check in on your friends, ask them if they're okay. A conversation can save and change a life. But on to a little bit more upbeat news. Let's check out our social showroom. And kicking off our social showroom is none other than our hero of the month. This time around, it is Sebastian Job. So huge congratulations. If you'd like to read more about it, you can check us out at OvertakeGG. And of course, be sure to tweet at us at overtake_GG. I can't think of a more fitting hero of the month. I think it was just kind of a matter of time before we had Sebastian on there. Last time I was around, I believe it was Emily Jones. Are you a big Sebastian fan?
I mean, I'm not going to say fan. I know that he's a very sort of, consistent sim racer across a lot of platforms. I've seen him a little bit on the Formula One game, but I haven't really seen a huge amount from him. So I can't say that he's, I'm not going to say, massive fan, but I know that he's big in the scene.
Very, very fair. Now, our next tweet is also news for our upcoming Clash of Racers 2 on December 13th. We now have both of our captains revealed. Matt, before we got onto broadcast, you were telling me that you're a big League fan. Well, you now have Yamato Cannon and Shox combining with racing itself. So Yamato and Shox trading some trash talk back and forth. I believe Shox was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And Yamato's like, I will show you no mercy. So I guess he just pulled the gloves off.
That's what I want to see. As you say, I'm a massive League fan, and that's the sort of content that us League fans / motorsport. I don't know how much crossover there is, but I'm totally in.
I'm sure we're about to find out. The thing is when I was talking to Shox, Ifya actually knows a lot about just F1 in general. She's like actually a big F1 fan. And Yamato, for all of his trash talk, as we can take a look at his response, doesn't watch racing. He's a big UFC fan, but he's spitting a lot of fire. And I think Ifya is playing a little shy right now for how much she actually knows about racing.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen her tweet quite a bit about Formula One when it's been on and that sort of stuff. So I think she's a dark horse and she could easily come out the blocks firing. And
speaking of tweeting a lot about racing this weekend, we actually have a tweet from the WTF1 series. And my Twitter also exploded. I think everywhere I looked, I saw Mercedes is trolling. Mercedes is pulling a Ferrari. There was a lot of, I don't want to call it outrage, a lot of commentary on social media about last weekend.
There was. And in fact, actually, that tweet is not actually factually accurate. It's come out. Mercedes have come out and said that Netflix weren't filming Mercedes this weekend. So it actually means that there is no curse because apparently they were filming Renault and Racing Point, and Racing Point ended up winning. So Netflix didn't curse anybody last weekend.
Oh, okay. It just got spicier. And finally, we have our last tweet, this time around from our stream team, Bo Albert, and we're going to listen in on him.
I didn't think it'd be neck and neck into the Porsche curves. I thought I'd be ahead slightly. I used all the track. Oh. Credit to him. He gave me plenty of room. Good on him. Good racing. That's what you love to see. He was always going to defend the inside. I knew that. I just thought I'd have a much better run.
Sportsmanship as always.
I love the Mazdas. I love the Mazdas on iRacing, and I can appreciate a great move in those MX-5s. They're not easy to drive. They're pretty much the first thing that you step into when you start on iRacing. So, love that move.
Yeah, I feel like I tried one and I just felt like I was gliding all over. So the amount of control there from him to use the entire track to do the overtake was really nice.
Oh yeah, you try going especially from those to a Formula One race later on. It's just genuinely two different universes. You can't do it. I'm pretty sure no one can adapt that much.
Damn. Okay, well, that's all for our social showroom. Now, the final part that we have is, of course, the Trackmania Hotlap. So while we set up Matt and get him all buckled up for this, you guys can stay tuned, and we'll see you on the other side. Welcome to the Chalkmania Hotlap. Now, you guys know the drill, but just in case you don't, this is how it's going to work, Matt. You have 3 minutes to get the fastest lap time and try to finish first on our scoreboard, but good luck. I've seen a couple of the practice rounds. I'm a little bit nervous for you. Reminder, guy, that Emily Jones holds the record right now with 50.713 seconds. So, Matt, are you ready?
Sure. I've never played this game, but let's do it.
That's the spirit. Good luck, and you may begin. Let's see if we can navigate the menus. This is the first hurdle. It's going great, guys. There we go.
Let's press restart. Here we go.
Now, sometimes I commentate these. I like to call this this guy the F or the H turn. I find this is like the hardest one for newbies. Okay.
No. Okay, we go again. We go again. This time.
Kind of what I expected, but good, solid start. Takes another run up to it, and oh, that one's much better. Clears it, nice. Right in the middle of the track there. Now you're heading into the S curves. Okay, he's got speed, he's got moves. First checkpoint, the loop-de-loop. You're doing great. I thought you were gonna be way worse than this. Okay.
I love racing games on the controller. What can I say?
You went through the hump part really well. You're now coming into the last 4 turns.
Go! I've lost momentum.
That wasn't great, but shake it off. It's downhill now. Okay, last turn before the straightaway. The launch. Good time. You still have enough time for probably one more race?
I've got to absolutely send it now.
Okay. He's got his warm-up. Oh, overshot it.
I've still got time.
Okay. It's that Goldilocks spot. You can't quite overshoot it. Okay, he's on the course. We'll take it.
Nah, I lost it. I lost the momentum. I'm going again. I've got 1 minute 23. It's
a bit of a perfectionist. Okay. Oh, that counts.
Okay, it's okay.
Cut it. So I've just been alerted by our producers that with your current time, you'd be 5th on our scoreboard.
I'm going to restart. Oh no, I can't! It's done the checkpoint thing. Oh, what a shame.
Oh, it's a disaster.
I've lost momentum now.
Oh, okay.
It's over.
Well,
it's over. The dream's dead.
I don't believe. Okay. With that time, it does mean that Matt Galagher will take 5th on our scoreboard, and that is actually quite amazing. So do you have anyone you'd like to thank? The Academy, your parents, any shout outs?
I want to thank the fact that I've wasted most of my life playing games in order to get myself here.
Yes.
Never played the game before, but I feel like P5, I'll take it. We'll put some practice in and see if we can improve over the years to come.
You can see that, guys. A great champion attitude right there. Very humble, recognizes that there's still more work to be done and is looking to... I couldn't even do it. I tried to get through it. Thank you so much, Matt, for coming on the show, doing an interview. Would you like a final farewell? Any actual plugs that you want to plug? Your YouTube, your Twitter, anything like that?
Well, obviously, thank you so much for having me. It's been great fun. It's been great to meet you, of course, because I'm a massive league fan. And well, if you haven't checked out WTF1, please do on all the socials on YouTube channel. And then my tags are either Matt WTF1 or Matty WTF1. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Now, a reminder, guys, that while Matt will not be joining us, we still have so much more content for you guys, including our Newsflash. So let's get right into it. Coming to the finale of the iRacing Rallycross World Championship, 4 drivers still had a shot at taking home the win. Robertson was in prime position at the top of the table with Hart a close second, but DeYoung and Hallman were also contenders. Now, Hallman managed to come in second, following home the race winner, Ollie Kaiman, but by snatching 4th place, it was Hart who eventually took the crown. The point difference was just too much to overcome from Hallman. With this, Johan Hart won the $10,000 prize. Takuma Mizano was one of the favorites in the FIA GT Championships Asia-Oceania Regional Finals. As last year's championship winner, he stood to defend his crown. Another notable name came in the form of last month's Hero of the Month, Emily Jones, who tried her best to qualify for the global finals. Now, Miyazano showed his class immediately in race 1, with only Kokobun defeating him by first place with just 0.25 seconds. The second race took place in Australia at Mount Panorama, and once again, Kokobun emerged victorious, with Miyazano again trailing in second place. Just as in race 1, Latkovsky came in third, cementing his position. In race 3, Miyazano finally managed to clinch victory, and with it came out on top in the rankings as well. He qualified together with Kokobun and Latkovsky. Yamamanka managed to tie with Latkovsky for points in the last race and thus also managed to qualify. Now, despite her valiant efforts, Emily Jones only came in 8th overall. On December 5th, we saw the accumulation of the BMW Sim 120 Cup in the form of the season finale, which was part of the BMW Sim Live 2020 event. Among those taking part were a host of famous names in the world of racing esports, such as Sebastian Jubb, Joshua Rogers, Max Benecki, and Mitchell de Jong. The race took place at Silverstone in the UK. Now, for all his dominance in qualifying, the opening of the race did not go Rogers' way. He got away poorly on the rolling start, allowing both Benecki and Graham Carroll to move ahead of him into the first corner. Now, after Rogers gained the lead, he immediately lost it again. A steward's ruling sent him back to position 3 because of contact with Benecki. On the same lap, Rogers managed to squeeze past the fighting Benecki and Carroll to grab the lead. The second half of the race was a comparatively reserved affair in which Rogers steadily drove away from Benecki to claim the win by 2 seconds at the checkered flag. Now, Benecki demonstrated that he was the second best driver on the day by seeing off the third place Carroll by a margin of 3 seconds. Every participant claimed a monetary prize, but it was Rogers who took the lion's share in the form of $12,000. And there was also a fresh announcement for all the Forza Horizon fans out there. Developer Playground Games just added a new stunt mode to the game, and with it, ramps, cool jumps, and everything else you'd expect it to have. Now, these new items obviously are also going to be available in the track editor, so you can design your own races with them. And that's the Newsflash for this week, but we aren't done with the announcements just yet. Mind having a look at our next stream team session with FragsTube on Twitch next Wednesday? He will start at 19 o'clock CET and take you with him on his journey through the F1 2020 campaign. And if you want to, you can also join him in a community race. And one last reminder for you, make sure to be with us at the Clash of Racers 2 on December 13th. Watch our captains, Shox and Yamato, lead their teams into the Ultimate Racing Challenge. It will feature more action, more studio games, and more fun than ever before. To get you in the mood, we have a new trailer just for you, so check it out. I am so insanely hyped to have my League of Legends buddies join the esports racing world, but that is it. That is our last Nitro Nights before the holidays. And I remind you guys that we will be back on January 13th, 2021. Until then, buckle up, stay safe, and we'll see you on the other side.